Davante Adams situation.
Okay.
You know, because obviously we got breaking news, and we mentioned it on the show a little bit. I hinted at it in the tape, but Davante Adams has came out and said that he wants out. He prefers out. But translation, get me up out of here. Okay. Now, this was a guy who had it all. He was playing with Aaron Rodgers, was just about to get a large contract in Green Bay, okay, and still compete for a championship potentially. And he wanted to play with his buddy Derek Carr. And obviously they got rid of Derek Carr. Now, this is honestly how I think this brother feels right about now.
Yeah, listen. We fucked up.
You did, bro. You did.
Where they think your coach, or your coach did, I actually don't know, likes this post about you getting traded. When you heard of that, I guess my first question is, how soon did you hear from coach?
Yeah, I haven't heard from him. I haven't talked to him. So I haven't, I don't know. I don't really know exactly what that was about. Obviously I got, social media is a beast. So it's a lot of people out there that saw it and, wondering what's going on and people reaching out. And yeah, I haven't spoke to him.
I'm surprised by that. I would think that's, okay. Well, I would think you work together every day. So if I would say, right. oh shoot, I accidentally hit that, I unliked it. Now it's this huge story. Is that just kind of like what the dynamic is? That's not something that you want to hear from him?
Honestly, it's hard to comment on. I'm sure you would imagine as such, but it's one of those situations where I just keep my head down and keep doing my thing and, let the chips fall where they may as it pertains to that. But I haven't, there's been no communication with anybody from the team since that became a thing. But, it's kind of just like the weekly what's up with Tay thing. It's always some sort of drama. But at the end of the day, 1-7 doesn't create any of it. So.
All right, Zay, our guy, Will, is here in the studio. So I'm going to bring on our guy and introduce him to the show. Well, what's going on, my guy?
Gentlemen, what's going on? I'm Leo.
I'm glad to have you on, man. It's been a minute, man. We haven't got you on since we transformed.
Right, bro. Can't complain.
That's good, man. We haven't got you on since we transformed to our new platform here, 99 Pod. So I want to introduce you to the show, welcome you to the show.
Yeah,
and feel free to plug yourself in.
Hold on.
Will, feel free to, get that situated. Zay, if you want to take off with the question, obviously there's a lot going on with the Raiders right now. Antonio Pierce, Davante Adams, I think Pierce liked a post on Instagram that said that Davante Adams should get traded or something to that effect. Obviously we saw Davante Adams there. So where do you think he ends up, Zay?
Yeah, I think, when Antonio Pierce talked about guys making business decisions, and we see who it was. It was not clearly who it was, but there were some players out there, and Davante Adams was one of them. I think in terms of where he wants to go and where the Raiders can recoup the best assets possible, I can see him going to a team in the NFC, a team that's up and coming, a team that's been playing extremely well with their rookie quarterback, and that is the Commanders. I think the Commanders are devastatingly want to increase that offense of what they have on that team right now. And I think when you put Davante Adams next to Terry McLaurin, it only opens up the entire offense for Cliff Kingsbury and what they're willing to do for that team. I think it alleviates the pressure that the run game is going to need with Brian Robinson Jr. and Jaden Daniels himself. And when you have so many weapons on either side of the football, it's only so much a defense can do to stop them from getting open and stop them from creating separation. And I think Commanders are in a prime position to facilitate and make that trade reality, especially with their salary cap situation.
All right, Will, you good? You everything is rock and roll?
Yeah, everything's all good on my end. Right. As far as this whole Davante Adams situation goes, it's absolutely crazy, but everybody in the New York sports media has been talking about it now ever since Aaron Rodgers has come over here. And listen, the fact of the matter is, this guy he's still a Raider, and he did request a trade, sure. But for the Jets, realistically speaking, through the first 4 weeks, I'm not really worried about the wide receiver room as everybody else is making it out to be. I'm really more concerned about this whole run defense and where the Jets are at this point in time. Because let's face it, if you add Davante Adams over here in a very volatile situation that already has Robert Saleh really coaching for his coaching career at this point in time, right? You have Nathaniel Hackett being over here. You have Aaron Rodgers being over here. Sure, it adds up to making it make sense. But at that same point in time, the Jets have more issues than the wide receiver room. And on top of that, let's look at the 3 wide receiving options that have been really producing for the Jets thus far. We'll start off here with Allen Lazard. Everybody that has been a Jets fan, last year wanted him gone. I was one of those guys that wanted Allen Lazard cut. And ever since he got back this year, he has been nothing short of extraordinary, to say the very least. And he's been Aaron Rodgers' go-to receiver at that point in time, right? Then you look at Mike Williams, the free agent acquisition that they got this offseason. He's been playing absolutely really good. He's had some nice catches over the course of the first 4 weeks. And seeing Wilson, Aaron Rodgers chemistry has to get figured out. It has to, no doubt. But Garrett Wilson's your number 1 option, regardless. And if you bring on Davante Adams, it's like you're going to have a bunch of all-stars right now. The only issue is there's only one football, and I get it. I understand it from a Jet fan perspective. You get him and Adams over here. Rodgers and Adams, they have the chemistry. The issue is there's only one football, and with the way how Rodgers likes to spread the ball around, I like what I've been seeing thus far, albeit it's only been such a limited amount of time with the Jets. Now they got to not for me to be rambling on. My final point on this is you're going to have to give up a lot of draft capital too. Yes, the Jets' second-round draft picks, they don't pan out. They never do. And that's something that Las Vegas wants, is a second-round draft pick. The issue is, though, what's life going to be like after this year with or without Aaron Rodgers over here? This is an all or nothing team right now. So it should be interesting. I personally don't see the Jets trading for Davante Adams. They still got to figure out what's going on with Hassan Reddick and the whole defensive end situation. But ultimately, for me, I think it would be adding more of a luxury item when the need is to go out there and fix this run defense. That's just how I see it.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to pick up where you left off, right? Because I think when you talk about a potential move for the Jets, I agree with you. I don't think that's a move they should make. They got other issues that they got to get mapped out. Now, ironically, a lot of us thought that Garrett Wilson and, Rodgers was going to have that same type of connection that Adams and Rodgers had in Green Bay. A lot of people was calling Garrett Wilson the next Davante Adams. So the fact that, the Jets are interested, because I just got a report that they are interested in potentially looking into a potential deal for Davante Adams, to me, I don't think it makes sense. But I agree with Zay. I think the Commanders should be trying to make this happen. That's another team that I saw is looking into the deal. I think they should pull the trigger. You got Jaden Daniels out here balling as a rookie, man. And they 3-1 right now. They are in a position where they're at the top of the NFC East. You got to go get that. The championship window is now, because your quarterback is on his rookie deal. Now, I understand a lot of people think that this is a rebuild situation here that we got going on. And sometimes rebuilds could be accelerated, like how I think it is right now. You're 3-1, bro. The Cowboys are looking spotty right now. The Eagles are looking spotty right now. This is a golden opportunity to pounce on opportunity and make a play for Davante Adams. Give your weapon, your guy, your quarterback, another weapon alongside Terry McLaurin, and go out there and try to win this division and try to, you know, at least compete for a championship. And it just feels weird me saying this because it's the Commanders we talking about here. I mean, this franchise has been negated of competent quarterback play forever. And the fact that we are having this conversation, you got to feel it in a good way for those fans out there. And I think they should be on the call for Davante Adams. All right, Zay, any last words that you want to add on to this topic?
Yeah, I think Davante Adams. I don't think the market is going to be as active as the Raiders think it is. I think he's an aging player, 31 years old. He's on his contract. I believe he's due for another contract in a year or two. So he's going to want a bigger payday than what he probably already got. And despite his talent and what he means to a team, there's a lot of young receivers out there. A lot of young receivers coming from the draft, and it's just like that. Time has changed, right? Is no longer just Adams and all these other guys. There's a lot of receivers out there that could get ample opportunity that can do what Davante Adams does, and especially guys like look at a Brian Thomas Jr. He's only a rookie, but at his height, at his frame, and what he does separation wise, is like a lot of those guys are going to be coming up from college, where you could not have to pay them and you could just get them, draft them, and then wait several years on a cheaper deal. So I think the Raiders are kind of like they're trying to see who will bite at a second-round pick. But even then, I think that's an overpay for a guy who's on the back end of his career.
Yeah, man. I made this bold prediction in the offseason. I seen it coming. I didn't have binoculars, but I saw it coming. I mean, it's evident. They should have traded this guy in the offseason. You're not going to have an expensive, you know, wide receiver with a legacy who his legacy means a lot to him and having competent quarterback play like how the Raiders have right now with Gardner Minshew. And Antonio Pierce, what do y'all think about the rumors? I mean, it's not a rumor. I think it's true of him liking that post about Davante Adams potentially being on the move. Like, you know, what are we thinking? I mean, that's a head coach right there. What are y'all thinking right now in regards to that? Will, the mic is yours.
All I'm going to say is, you know, as far as I don't really know much about the situation regarding this whole post with Antonio Pierce and Davante Adams. But what I will tell you is that if a head coach is out there liking this and he's liking that kind of post, that just means that he wants him gone at that point in time. And you could see Antonio Pierce can say, oh, it was a slip up. It was this, it was that. Listen, if that's going on and, you know, a tweet like that's happening and he's liking it, it's time to move on. And that's just the way how it is. I'm just going to leave it like that.
Zay, what you thinking about this, man? No comment?
In terms of the Antonio Pierce?
Yeah, Antonio Pierce liking a post that, you know, basically said that Davante Adams should be on the move.
Well, I think this is a decision that not only Pierce made within his coaching staff, but I think the GM they had discussions. I think Davante Adams was like on his way out because he's no longer the marquee player on his team, and I think they thought he would come in and change the organization around or change the perspective of things, but he's not. So I think, you know, it was an executive decision that not only Pierce and the GMs made, but also they were like, hey, listen, this guy doesn't want to really be here. He's not a marquee player. He's on a contract where he's not guaranteed for next season. So, like, I think it should be time to move on because he's not going to resign here. And I think it was an executive decision. I don't think Antonio Pierce's job is in jeopardy here because of this, because of the team that they have. They don't have a quarterback, a starting caliber quarterback at that. The defense is actually playing pretty decent. They're playing well. And they got Brock Bowers, who's essentially going to be, I guess, the best offensive player they have on this team until further notice. So I think, you know, it was just something that the front office and Pierce, they had a discussion. It was like, all right, well, just time for him to go. Because all this pouting, all this extra stuff, and all this flirting with Aaron Rodgers every other day is like it's not helping this team flourish at all. Even with a 2-2 record, Adams is still pissed off. So it's like there's nothing you can do to really help get this guy happy. Just try to bring in some assets as you can because, like I said, he is an aging player. He's only going to get hurt more. Not saying he's not talented or skillful, but he's not going to be beneficial to staying on your team at all as long as you don't have a quarterback to throw him the football. So just get rid of him. Bring up some assets. I think Antonio Pierce will still be the head coach next year, probably even a year after that, based on the trajectory of the team. And I predict that the Raiders will be better off without Adams this season. I think their record is going to show that at the end of this year.
Yeah, I mean, look, man. I think if you are the head coach and you like a post like that, you do need to get in touch with Adams Adams clearly said in that video that he hasn't heard from or spoken to anybody within the organization. That's a bad look. Now, if it was an accident, which I don't believe, like I don't think we having all these accidents on social media, on Instagram, right? We got Shannon Sharp out here clapping cheeks on Instagram live and calling it an accident. It's not an accident that you went live, bro. You can't go live by an accident, okay? I could say the same thing with a post, all right? Because if you do like a post by accident, you could unlike it. But clearly he didn't. So here we are.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.